What was weird about Brittany, and I want you to go back and research every ounce of footage, she never once, not once, said one bad thing or one bad word about the stepfather, Derion Vence. Even when police charged him with tampering with a corpse, meaning her daughter's body, not one angered word, one emotional word, one bad word, not one. Your own child, and you have nothing angered in you to say at all, publicly or privately.
Talking to YouTuber iCkEdMeL about
YouTube's iCkEdMeL interviewer Melvin Cedeno with YouTuber Melvin Cedeno, his YouTube channel.
the iCkEdMeL YouTube channel run by Melvin Cedeno.
What's up? It's iCkEdMeL. How are you guys doing? Quanell X goes on HLN, and he pretty much double downs and triple downs on everything that he said, pulls out the cannon, pulls out the blicky, and he's going on an all-out attack on Brittany Bowens. And I think at the beginning here, the first couple clips that I showed you guys, he made some pretty good points as far as you never hear her condemn Derion if he was so bad. Now, they've been going back and forth. He's saying she's a liar, she's saying he's a liar, you know, what's true, what's not. And the thing is, too, is when he was saying all those things and she was standing next to him, she never stopped him. And we spoke about all this already. So the following clip is where he said he was talking to Brittany and he asked about Maleah's location and Derion, and also about her mentioning needing a lawyer.
And I began to ask a question about, do you know where Maleah is? Did Derion tell you? There started to be serious hesitation in answering that question. And then she would say, well, I think I need to get a lawyer.
In the following clip, Quanell is going to talk about how he found out about the allegations and that Brittany admitted that it's true and apparently that she was covering up for him. I mean, I want to know from you guys, what happened between these two people, between Bowens and Quanell? Did Quanell all of a sudden have a moral high ground where he's like, I gotta report this and this is against everything I believe in? Or was it something financial? Or was he making her look crazy and she didn't like that? It could be a mixture of things. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And before I pop into this next clip, let me just say that Quanell didn't do anything to help out Brittany. It made her look really bad. Who knows if he's fully saying the truth, but a lot of things are coming out. And we know that everybody seems to be a liar involved in this entire thing. The other thing is her friends that she had on Facebook Live representing her did a horrible job when they were laughing, cackling, and cursing people out. It was just a horrible thing to happen or go on because you're talking about the person, or they're talking about the person that's missing. Okay, she could be deceased. We don't know where she's at. So when you have your friends on there laughing and cackling, doing all this kind of craziness, it just looks bad. It just looks bad. I guess maybe she needed them to feel comfortable. Maybe she felt comfortable with her being her friends. But the optics of it, it just looks really bad. You guys tell me what you thought about that live stream and what you think about Quanell's intentions, and does he have a moral high ground, or is it a financial thing that he's like, oh, we've reached the cap where he's not getting paid anymore? Because there's no way that I think he was doing this for free. Comment down below and tell me.
She first denied it, and then I gave her greater details of what I knew because a source in her family had shared some information with me in confidence. Then Brittany admitted that yes, Maleah was being physically abused by the stepfather, and that on more than one occasion she did help cover it up.
I think Brittany should come on. And do an interview with me. We could talk beforehand. Let's do an interview. Let's get the questions out there that people want to know answered that you can talk about. I'll give you a platform where it's clean. We can do things beforehand, not live. We can go over the recordings, and I think it would be better to clear yourself up, because this whole thing with Quanell now, which is it? You know what I'm saying? What is true? Was Vence doing this stuff to your daughter? Was he not? Did you know about it or not? Is there more that we don't know that you're not telling us? You know what I'm saying? Because did this stuff go on, or did Quanell completely come up with this in his own head? He said he spoke to a family member in confidence. So it's kind of back and forth. I don't know what's going on. All I can say is that this little girl is still missing. We got a bunch of adults pointing fingers at each other and a lot of lies flying in the air. Now, the next clip that I want to show you is where Quanell actually asked if Vence was hitting and doing all these other things to Maleah when she was sick, because she was a sick child. So I don't know if that means after surgeries, before surgeries, after injuries or whatever. He asked, was he hitting her, beating her?
And I asked Brittany, I said, did he whoop her when she was sick? Also, she was a sickly child. And she said yes.
By the way, before we get into the next clip, I did speak to somebody last night that was affiliated with Brittany, and it was a really interesting conversation. Nothing that would lead to finding Maleah, but it confirmed one or two things that the father was saying, that Joe was saying in the interview. So I just found it really interesting, but I promised confidentiality, and so we'll keep it moving. Now, the next clip is going to get into the whole thing with what happened on their way to the airport, what happened with the gay pictures that was being sent. So we're going to get into it. And there was one person that was in the comment section a while back going crazy. Oh, this has nothing to do with pictures, and this has nothing to do with that. Oh, yes, it does. It certainly does, because if what Quanell is saying is true, that all these things are going on and that Brittany was covering it up and all this stuff, it seemed like Brittany had an issue when it became pictures of him sending to somebody else. She didn't have a problem with all the other things, like I've mentioned in the other videos. It was a problem when he was sending pictures to other men, allegedly, and that's when she said that she didn't no longer wanted to get married to him. So check it out.
He and her had an argument when she was on the way to the airport and at the airport to go to her father's funeral service in Massachusetts. I asked her, I said, we've learned that you and him were fighting about him sending inappropriate text messages and pictures to another man. And then she said, yes, I have the pictures that he said. She showed them to me.
So according to Quanell, and he's saying this is what Brittany told him, that Vence and Brittany, they got into an argument on the way to the airport. She confronted him about the pictures. And in this next clip that I'm going to show you, he says that he even spoke to the brother, I'm assuming Joe Vence, and saw phone numbers and confirmed that it was men. Check it out.
I saw the photographs. I spoke to his brother about the photographs. So I saw the phone numbers. They were actual photographs he was sending to another man.
Now, this last final clip, you're going to want to pay attention to the details, read between the lines, okay, because he's saying that they were on the way to the airport. She confronted him. I guess he left her at the airport. She was getting texts or calls. She was ignoring it. And then about an hour later, he's saying, Quanell, that Vence was texting her saying, it's an emergency, it's an emergency, it's an emergency. So check it out. This is also telling me, because if this is true, that he was saying it's an emergency, then Brittany would have known that something was going on or something happened before she even flew out.
And I 1,000% believe wholeheartedly that when Brittany confronted him about it, going to the airport and leaving him at the airport, she refused to respond to any of his text messages. And about an hour later, he was texting her saying, it's an emergency, it's an emergency, it's an emergency, please call me back.
So that's really telling. If this is true, what Quanell is saying, and if you're reading between the lines, that she possibly already knew something was wrong and something was going on. That's why it seems like when she was on FB live stream, Facebook, and they were questioning her like, hey, did you ever speak to Maleah while you were on your trip? And she's like, I don't want to answer. I don't want to talk about that. It kind of makes sense that she wouldn't want to talk about that. And that's one of the things I brought up before, and a lot of you guys were bringing up, is that how can you not talk to your daughter while you're gone on this trip, even if it's a funeral? You know what I'm saying? I would talk to my daughter every day. Even when she's not here, I talk to her every day. So how can that be? That doesn't make sense. Now, if the thing is, if she knew something was wrong, if she knew something happened, then that would make sense why she wouldn't want to answer and speak about that. I think that she's still very much in love with this guy. You know, she obviously posted pictures, if you've seen on Instagram, of all of them together recently. And then I think she took the Instagram page down. And then there was like a Facebook page I saw with all of them. And then it was taken down. I don't know how legit those profiles were, but I've heard that the Instagram one was. So it's just a really, really messy thing. I hope that everything comes out to the light. And yeah, just comment down below. I hope you guys have a great day. And peace.